So apparently Jarrell Miller has received a couple of offers to fight Anthony Joshua now. Just a couple of weeks ago, he said he hadn't received any offers. Now he's received a couple. The first offer, to my knowledge, was rejected by Jarrell Miller and his team. The second offer is being, I guess, examined and mulled over by his team. And Jarrell Miller says it's 50-50 whether he's going to fight AJ or not. And it will be most likely in June at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Jarrell Miller must be a little surprised because Miller has been very dismissive of not only Anthony Joshua, but also dismissive of the claims by Eddie Hearn that he would put AJ in with Miller, because Miller believes he's the big bad wolf and AJ is some scared little supermodel, thong-wearing, Playboy centerfold posing model who wouldn't dare get in the ring with the Brooklyn native. You know, this is what Miller believes in his mind. So to have offers from AJ must come as a little bit of a surprise to Jarrell Miller. Maybe he's thinking, wow, maybe AJ and Hearn either underestimated me or they got more heart than I thought they did. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. So we'll see whether the second offer is to Miller's satisfaction. Miller has come out and said certain things since he's got these offers, like money means a lot to him, but he's thinking about legacy first at this point in his career, which would seem to suggest that he's willing to take, I don't want to say a derisory offer, but he's willing to take money, which is, you know, not, I mean, it's going to be life-changing because I don't think he's ever earned $1 million purse or $1 million plus, but it's certainly not going to be up there with the money Dylan White is making, etc., etc. So it seems to suggest he's willing to accept relatively low money in order to get the belts and therefore earn a hell of a lot more money as champion, you know? So that statement would appear to infer that that's what's on Jarrell Miller's mind, that he's thinking about taking whatever they offer him from Joshua. Well, not whatever they offer him, but a relatively low amount of money just for the opportunity. Now, he does have another option, and you see here, Miller's team talking to ringtv.com. Miller's team is saying that they are working on the Joshua fight. They said we have a long way to go. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But they're also looking at the WBA regular belt. And I mean, Manuel Charr is the WBA regular champion now. And Manuel Charr has got to fight Freza Kendo. I mean, that saga is just so old. It's probably the most depressing saga in boxing. The whole Freza Kendo. I mean, when's the last time Freza Kendo fought? Was it against Ruslan Chagayev like 100 years ago? And this guy's like 50 years old. I'm exaggerating here, people, but you know what I'm saying. And they're still talking about throwing him in for a WBA regular belt. It's crazy, man. And Trevor Bryan somehow, some way fits into this situation. So perhaps they're looking at putting Miller in against Trevor Bryan and having the winner fight the winner of Manuel Charr versus Akendo. Now, obviously, Miller sees that route as a much easier route to a heavyweight title. So for all Miller's bluster, for all his smack talk and his apparent confidence, we'll find out exactly how confident he is right now. Because is he going to get more money fighting Trevor Bryan or, well, fighting for the WBA regular against whoever? Is he going to make more money doing that than he's being offered to fight AJ right now? I seriously doubt it. That's what I'll say. I seriously doubt that Jarrell Miller's going to make more money fighting Manuel Charr or whoever than fighting AJ. So, and of course, he's going to be fighting for a regular belt, not the real belts that Joshua's got. So we'll see how confident Jarrell Miller really is in this situation right here. He had talked previously about wanting that WBA regular strap because it would bolster his position at the negotiating table against Joshua or Wilder. And that's true, it would, to a certain extent. I mean, if Jarrell Miller became the WBA regular champion, at some point, the WBA do call for these consolidation fights. I don't want to call it a unification. It's a consolidation fight where they consolidate the WBA regular with the WBA super. They did it with, for example, Gennady Golovkin when he fought Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs was WBA regular, Golovkin was WBA super, and they had a consolidation fight where, the two became one. The same thing happened with Alexander Povetkin when he held the WBA regular heavyweight title. Klitschko held the WBA super. They had a consolidation fight in Russia, so on and so forth. So I'm sure Miller and his team are looking at that particular possibility. And when you have that consolidation fight, you get a guaranteed split. You are basically a glorified mandatory challenger when you have the WBA regular with regards to fighting for the super version of the belt. And now I don't know if the WBA have changed their rules since then, whether they don't mandate the WBA regular to fight the super champion anymore. I don't know, maybe they've changed it. But if it still is the case, then, as I say, Miller's team are going to be looking at that very closely and thinking, if we can get that WBA regular, we'll get a shot at Joshua for a much bigger percentage than the money we're being offered now. But if Miller is as confident as he says he is, and if his team are as confident in him as he seems to be in himself, then he surely has to take the Joshua fight. If he believes, he's getting it in his own backyard, in New York City at MSG. If he's that confident, he needs to be taking that fight. He's never going to get a better opportunity to fight AJ than this. In terms of the location of the fight. And maybe even in terms of AJ's development, because AJ's not the finished article yet. Then again, maybe Miller's not the finished article neither. But is Miller really going to change that much as a fighter? Maybe, maybe not. I would probably suggest not. I think he is what he is. He's a 300-pound behemoth who comes forward and throws lots of punches, bullies you and, puts under pressure. So I think it's a great opportunity for Miller, even if he's not being offered that much money. He's not a pay-per-view fighter. He's not a Dylan White. He's not someone who commands huge purses. So why should he be offered crazy amounts of money? So, yeah, we'll see how confident Miller and his team are in beating AJ, because they really should be taking Eddie Hearn's hand off at this point to get hold of just the opportunity, never mind the money. The opportunity should be, and there's going to be a rematch clause and all that kind of business, obviously, because it's a voluntary. But still, we'll see what happens here, people. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Will Jarrell Miller actually step up to the plate, or is it going to be Dylan White? It seems to be 50-50 between the two of them right now. Do these guys really want to fight AJ? That's a question I have to ask as well. Like, how much do they really want it? Does Dylan White really want AJ next? I know he'd fight AJ next for the right amount of money. If they give him 60-40, he'll fight him. But the opportunity to fight for all those belts and to become the number one in the division, to become the man, as Eddie Hearn says, how much does that mean to them? Because if you beat AJ, you become the man in the division and your purses are going to go through the roof. That's what's going to happen. So how much value do they place on that? How much do they believe in themselves? Yes, they might feel like it's disrespectful to get certain offers, but the reward is massive. It's not just the purse you're going to get for this fight. It's the purses you get after the fight if you beat AJ in subsequent fights. They're going to be astronomical purses. Your profile is going to go through the stratosphere. Jarrell Miller, being from New York, if he was to beat Anthony Joshua, he would become far more popular, far more quickly than Deontay Wilder has been. Now, I'm not saying he's going to become more popular than Wilder overnight. What I'm saying is, when Wilder became champion, he was basically unknown in the United States up until he fought Tyson Fury, or up until he started his beef with Anthony Joshua, more accurately. When his beef started with Joshua in early 2018, that's when Deontay Wilder started actually getting some notoriety in his own country, and he'd already been champion for several years. With Jarrell Miller, if he was to beat AJ, I think that he would become much more popular. So he'd become popular much quicker. That's the way I should phrase it. He would become popular and known in his country much more quickly than Deontay Wilder. One, because he's beaten AJ, who is a much better fighter and a much bigger name than Bermane Stiverne worldwide. And, you know, there's a lot of controversy around AJ in the United States right now. So Miller would gain from beating AJ because of who AJ is, but he'd also gain because Miller is from New York City. And people shouldn't underestimate this. New York is kind of like the unofficial capital of the United States. The capital is Washington, D.C., but so much of what takes place in the United States by way of, movies and entertainment and all that kind of stuff, even though Hollywood is in LA, a lot of movies are set in New York. You know, a lot of movies are set in on the West Coast. Sorry, on the East Coast of the United States. And New York is just such an iconic place. Obviously, it's one of the financial centers of not only America, but the world. And it's just a happening city, New York City, where a hell of a lot of stuff goes on. And there have been so many prominent people who have been from New York City over the years. The point I'm making is, if you want to become a nationwide celebrity, being from New York City is better than being from Birmingham, Alabama, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to be more accurate. Because that's where Deontay Wilder's from. He's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's a backwater. Jarrell Miller's from New York City. When it comes to media and stuff like that, New York City is the place to be to get your name out there, not Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You understand the point I'm making? So the hype that there would be around Jarrell Miller in New York City would reverberate around the whole of the United States in a very short space of time if he was to beat Anthony Joshua for all those belts. So the reward that is on the table there for Jarrell Miller should he beat AJ is massive. So how much does he want that reward? How much does he really believe in himself? How dangerous does he actually believe AJ is? Because the way that Jarrell Miller talks, he talks as if AJ is just a walk in the park for him. Like a light breeze would just blow AJ over. I mean, let's see if he's really about that life. So hopefully he will be, because it's a fight I want to see. I want to see Big Baby against AJ. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.